Good morning, everyone. This is Brian Beamish, the Canadian Rational Investor, CR Investor on Twitter and TradingView, coming today to you today here, Friday, July 11th, 2014. And with your Bitcoin summary for today, and it looks like we got some interesting price action, so we ought to get to that in a second. Regular followers of me, you'll notice that I fired out a couple tweets this morning about the price action. So, by all means, you don't have to just rely on these videos. You can always get updated information on my Twitter feed or by going to the website, therationalinvestor.ca. And I'll also make just a quick plug. I noticed that I'm getting lots and lots of really good feedback on these videos and the stuff that I tweet. Keep in mind, guys, that this is all a free service, and money's tight for everybody these days. So if you do appreciate the videos and you get some good value out of this, donations are always appreciated. You can always just go to the website, click on Donate button, and up comes the wallet, and the rest is history, as they say. All right, so let's get on to the summary and see what the heck's going on here. All right, so of course, as always, we'll start with the daily summary just to put everything into perspective. Big run up last fall, big correction through winter and spring 2014. Nice rally out of the OTE long zone up to some relatively consistent fib resistance numbers, 38.2. I'm a big fan of that. And the year-to-date range from this 990, what was that high there? 990 even, down to this 340 area was also right up in this area too. So not a big surprise we saw the market stall, basically consolidating between this 38.2 and that 50% level like we talked about. And then if we zoom in and look at just the price action from the lows at 340 up to the highs here as what does this thing show? 66842. Is that right? Something doesn't seem right about that. But anyway, on BTCE, and 38.2 correction on the way down. Let's get rid of this box. Was 543.16, and sure enough, we came down to 545.50. Put in a nice looking little double bottom here, so that was good to see. And I've been making the reference for the past little while that if a market can do a 38.2 retrace and then continue the path higher, that structurally bodes well, and technicians over time will look back and say, well, the market bottomed at the 38.2 and continued, so not really that big of a surprise that we're in a bull market, yada yada yada. I left off yesterday, and I don't know whether I published this chart or not, but I did throw it up on Twitter this morning. Long and short of it, here we are in this trading range between these recent highs here, this 66842, and the low here of 545.50, and basically that defines our trading range at the moment. It's about $100. All right, so we zoom in on the shorter time frame charts. Here's this 4-hour chart, and actually I was tweeting about this morning because look at Willie's acting here. Very nice. Like I constantly try to remind people that you use momentum indicators twofold. You have your raw momentum readings, and then you also have your overbought and oversold conditions. So this rally up into this 654 area, Willie was nice and stupid up here. We had a nice market structure breakdown. So put it all together, it really shouldn't have surprised anyone to see price take a pause here. This was a horrible area to consider purchases, and sure enough, now we're washing out. Market structure itself is okay. It's not anything to really write home about, but the point here is that Willie has come down. Did we ever get stupid here? Oh, look at that, we did. Just briefly, we got stupidly oversold here on the 4 hours. That's where reading on the moving average is below -80 on our Williams percentage R reading. And it just makes sense that, right here, sales were really poor ideas. And so now we're working our way back up. And, I won't spend too much time on this 4-hour chart. We've talked lots about the potential bad formation. We talked about this double bottom, how we had a cup and handle here, how they're correcting and cleaning this up. Here's 38.2 off of that high. And that was my original downside target on the latest short setup. That basically has played itself out. And what I thought was really interesting here was that basically you can see we had 200 period simple moving average. Let's see if we can zoom this in for you. And this is 4-hour too. Keep that in mind, right? So on this correction here was 38.2. It's tough to see with price being right there. Let's make sure we have this 554.38. So let's change that. 550. What did we say that price was? Oh, that must be a different fib. Let's get this right. Hold on. 654. Let's try and get those numbers correct, Brian. 654.38, right? 654.38. And we all remember that because our bad target was the 88.6, 654.41. It came within 3 ticks of that target. That's just crazy when you see that happen. So our correction here, and what I originally wanted to do was just move this over. Let's see if I screw it up again. Let's go like this. Boom, 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 boom. All right, now you can at least see the numbers. Let's see if we can move this box over. All right. So we zoom in here, we can see that off of this entire range here, 38.2, 612.79, and look at this good looking bottom that came right in off of that level. That's just beautiful. And I suppose if we did a fib off of this high to this low, I bet that that's right around 50% there. At the same time, look at what our raw momentum reading is doing here. So this is very interesting. Nice surge here. And then we also have a nice surge here too. So very powerful. If we can close these bars above this high here, this is, what is that, 7.585 area. And right now we're at 1.5, so we got lots of wiggle room there. This bodes well for the over the short term. And you can see, volume's not stunning here, but it's pushed the OBV back into positive. We might have a nice double bottom here. We'll see how that plays out. And then of course we made reference to Willie here. And Willie did officially get stupidly oversold, so long and short of it here is sales, not such a good idea. And now we're sort of, what we're doing right now, this is so typical stock market land. We are now climbing the wall of worry, as they call it, where you're going to have lots and lots of bearish sentiment here, and the market's just going to slowly see how much of this we can take back. All right, so if we have bottomed here, is interesting price action. Let's go take a look at the shorter term, the 1 hour, and let's put that into perspective. All right, so we all remember last setup we had, which was a nice short off of the top here. 616 was target. I shot myself in the foot and covered my short on this move here, which was really, really amateur because that was totally just before London kill zone. And sure enough, the price went zooming right back down into my target zone. And I was publishing, and this might look really, really confusing just here in the short term, but I just want to just put this into perspective, and then we'll zoom in. All right, so if we look at fibs, just this most recent range, here's OTE down here. If you take fibs off of this range from these lows, here's OTE here. So, if institutions are going to buy, where are they going to most likely buy? We did have an interesting, basically, tag, and try and keep this 605 number in mind because I think that's important. As we said before, the last short setup worked, it finished, way to go. And really, at this point, and actually, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I had suggested we're probably going to just bounce around here along these two trend lines. And that's basically what happened. So not really any big surprise there. So what have we seen happen here over the past 24 hours? Well, a couple of interesting things. I did a blog write-up for the pay site, and I think we're just about ready to get going with that site. So you can always subscribe to the real-time blog. Yesterday's blog post I had mentioned, I talked in depth about kill zones, because we really nobody really talks about kill zones. And again, let's just be be totally straight up and forward with it. This is something that I learned from Michael Huddleston, the ICT guy. And I highly encourage you to go and watch all of his YouTube information. It's really, really good stuff, and you're going to learn a heck of a lot about how markets really work. But that's my plug for Michael, so way to go, Michael. You're awesome. And let's get back to the chart. Boosh. The point here is that I published some notes about the kill zones, and what I have noticed is that as Bitcoin is maturing, it's starting to act more like a Forex vehicle, where institutions 80% of the time establish the trend through the London kill zone, which is basically about a half hour before to a half hour after the London Open. Which is midnight my time here in Vancouver, BC, and coupled with that, markets love to turn through the New York kill zone, which is again about a half hour before the New York Open to a half hour after the New York Open. And I don't think anybody actually reinvents the wheel in this game. As a broker, for years and years and years, we used to always say, never trust the first hour of trading for the North American session. And in essence, that's the whole concept of kill zone, where, if you see the market, stock market, for example, you see the stock market gap open lower right on the cash open, odds are that the market's not going in that direction for the remainder of the day. Usually in that first hour, if they gap it open, people will wake up, they'll panic, let's say they gapped it down, they'll panic sell into that level, and then ironically enough, that level itself has a higher time frame reference. And once it hits that level, the market abruptly turns. And this is exactly what happened here over the past couple days on Bitcoin. Where, as I said, remember this number, this 605 area. That was an OTE sweet spot. It was also an old high. So we've talked about how old highs, there's probably a whole bunch of open orders just sitting here waiting to get filled. And so what I saw the other day, and God, it's incredible how cliche this stuff is after a while. Where they rallied it up, and I had been tweeting about how if they could take out this 619.80 level, we'd have a double bottom within a double bottom. That's there to there to there, then there to there to there, and if we broke out here, away we go. And you can see over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours they tried to get it up through 619, and they just couldn't, or I guess 620, and they just couldn't. And this is one reason why I really like BTCE. If we look at the Phoenix chart, you see that through that time period, they did break it out. And then ironically enough, they just quickly put in a top and broke it back down. So, and this I think speaks highly to this whole sort of leveraged play on Phoenix, where they probably, the guys running the trading desks or whoever, and my hunch is it's probably the Phoenix people themselves, they see all these open orders sitting here, and they're more than happy just to run and clean out all these open orders. Once they've done that, and if the other exchanges don't follow suit, then this can quickly turn into a trap. And I would imagine the Phoenix guys are probably sitting there going, great, we got all these people long, let's go see where their stops are. And look what they did. I mean, they brought the market down, and then they gapped it lower. So it opened up down here. That's right below this level here. Ching, 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 ching. All the stops got hit. And, here's Willie getting stupid again. And sure enough, this was a total trap. So excellent commentary on why I like BTCE better than Phoenix, because I believe that these levels are far more crisp and far more reliable. So having said that, what did we do here over the past couple days? Basically, market was working lower. We had a nice London kill zone. Basically, we talked about whether they could break this out. They couldn't. And through the London kill zone, they ripped it down. This red line here is that OTE sweet spot, that 605 number. Let's maybe make it a little chunkier there for you so now you can see it. And look how they brought it right down to the OTE sweet spot, right into the New York kill zone. So the sad part about it is that a lot of North Americans probably woke up and went, sell, 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 sell. And the sad part about it is they were just walking into a trap. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that this in itself is a buy signal. But what we see is New York kill zone. We probably could throw on the indicators here. Let's see how they looked. Let's see what we got here. I think it's this one. Boom. Let's see what happens. Yeah, there we go. Zub, zub, zub. No real direction from Willie here. Phoenix was showing a little stupid condition. Nothing really to write home about, and probably what I would argue is probably we're in a turning phase here. But check out price action. I mean, this is incredible how this happened. So, New York kill zone, bottom, right? Never trust the first hour of trading, yada, yada, yada. Look at, they tipped it lower here, and this was at basically right on the New York Open. And then they tried to get people to go short, and then boom, they instantly ran the market against them. You can see there were a couple of cute little gaps here that needed to be filled in through the European overnight session when they just gapped it lower. That was all cleaned up. Then they brought it right back down to the OTE sweet spot. Clearly, this was a buying level. And now you have the double bottom in here. I don't know whether you can see that, here to here to here. So they quickly took it up, confirmed that, then brought it back down. And look at what we did here, right into, gee whiz, there's the London kill zone, where they people who had taken this trade ahead of the London kill zone would have been like, I'm feeling good, yeah, we're rocking lower, and then all of a sudden London kill zone comes along, and vroom, they just rip it the other direction. And I find it fascinating that it was right on this OTE sweet spot level. So, not, as we said before, this green box, and this is powerful stuff, guys. This is 61.8 fib to 78.6 fib. This is their OTE, or optimal trade entry. If I was an institution and I was going to be a buyer, where am I most likely to buy? Hello, right into that zone. And then, as we said, we had an old high there, which is fairly significant. And it just so happened to be right on the sweet spot. So put it all together, not a big surprise to see a turn here. Is this a valid trade setup? I would actually have to say yes. To me, it looks pretty good. And, I suppose if you could, if you could handle the risk, your risk is basically, what's this high here? 615 all the way down to 603, so we're talking like $13. Not a heck of a lot of risk. Question is, could you get $26 out of it? So 616 plus 26 is 630, 642. 50% level 629. 38.2, 623. So not enough reward for me to justify the actual risk on the trade. Remember, I'm following this very simple BTC PAM model, where I have to be able to see at least a 2-to-1 reward over risk. Now, I suppose, and the model for you playing the double bottoms is your target should be a 50% retrace of that move. So having said all that, nice bottoming action right through the London kill zone, and look at what happened right on the open here. So here's New York kill zone. Don't trust the first hour of trading, so they opened it up, and hello, here's Mr. 38.2 just staring us in the face. It also happens to be right on this 100 period, or excuse me, 200 period SMA. So, and then we also have this nasty trend line that, remember, we did this off of this old high 605, off of this key low here. What's that number? 608, right? And look how price played in here with it, and look at what happened here this morning. It's incredible how this stuff just all lines up after a while. But you can see how market rallied right up to that trend line and was rejected. So put it all together. The kill zones are basically doing exactly what I expect. No big surprise. If your trading plan was just to buy OTEs and you had a fixed risk amount, then you're laughing and just kicking ass. It's interesting. Yesterday, I even said my hunch. When I finished this video yesterday, I said my hunch is we got to get up into this 38.2. So there was a potential trade setup there. It's not in my trading plan in particular. I'm trading double bottoms, double tops, and bullish and bearish bots. We might have a bot setup develop here, so I'll keep an eye on that. And if it does develop, we'll keep you abreast of that situation. The Phoenix, I think, yesterday's action just confirms to me that I really don't like trading Phoenix, and I would much rather just stick to BTCE. And what I see here is very normal, very natural price action. So my hunch at this point is we're probably going to have to do a 50 or at least a 38.2 off of this low, so to this high. My hunch then in the short term, and then I'm just ballparking this here, so these aren't totally specific numbers. OTE, there we go. My hunch is we got to come back to the 618. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? So, if you were playing this trading range and you were looking for a backfill through the New York kill zone, your first stop target definitely would have had to been 38.2, which is right here, 618. And I suppose you could argue that if institutions are buyers, and where do they ideally want to be buying, they're going to be looking for a move down into this area. So that's 613 down to 609. Put it all, and what a coincidence, this breakout here we said was 615. So put it all together, nice bounce off the bottom, ran into resistance with 3 different levels here that said it was going to be resistance. We're now cleaning this up. We'll see how this goes. And, really simply put, just follow the London and New York kill zones, and I think you're probably good to go. If we're doing a bullish bot, then price action will look something like this, there to there. And if, let's hypothetically say we bottom off of the 50% level, there to there, that would put our target right up into this OTE short sweet spot, which, interestingly enough, and I've been commenting about this quite a bit, is all this rally would do is just take us back up to the original shorting level from late last week. So really interesting price action here. Always stuff to learn. Really exciting. I swear I love this Bitcoin. The harmonics. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's what's really interesting about this is that stocks are highly manipulated, and they're always coming out with some sort of silly news out of the companies that can really affect the technicals. I love Bitcoin because it's just all technical, and really it makes sense because this is in essence an unblemished asset, right? I mean, nobody can manipulate it. I mean, they really can't because it all lives out on the internet. So as a result, it obeys these harmonics just beautifully. So, all right, that's my summary for today. I know I was rather long-winded, but there was some really interesting price action here that I wanted to talk about. As it stands right now, I'll be looking to be a buyer if we can get a nice consolidation through this zone and get some nice momentum and volume signals. I'll look to be a seller up in this zone. Conversely, again on momentum and volume tops. But for the time being, based on our daily action here, these charts up here, at this point, I'm starting to lean more bullishly here. So I'm feeling actually pretty good about the Bitcoin, feeling pretty good about the industry in general. And from what I understand, one of the Bitcoin gurus of late just made $1 million donation to a charity. So if anything, that reinforces our idea that things are looking pretty positive for Bitcoin of late. All right, guys, that's your summary for today. These are your key levels to keep an eye on in the short term and over the medium term and over the long term. Who would ever thought a daily chart would be considered long term? Oh, well. All right, guys, have yourselves a great day. All the best, and we'll talk to you. Oh, tomorrow's Saturday, so we're totally stoked. Got another class going to a School for Bitcoin Trader Development. Wednesday's class went totally awesome. I was really, really happy with how all that went. And so tomorrow is our session 2 for Q3 2014. So totally stoked about that. Interestingly enough, Q4's program is now already 25% booked, and we're not even into the first week of Q2's program. So totally, our Q3 program. So totally stoked. The future's so bright, we got to wear shades. I suppose the only downside today is my car broke down overnight and it's in the garage. Boo. Oh well. All right, guys, have yourself a great day, and we'll talk to you later.